Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today. Look, if you're in global trade, retail, or product development, you know the last few years have completely exposed the fragility of traditional supply networks. Optimizing a global supply chain, it's no longer just an operational chore, it's honestly one of the most complex, high-stakes puzzles out there. Supply chain fatigue is very real. So today, we're zeroing in on a highly effective solution: Egypt's booming manufacturing sector. Specifically, we're going to break down how Cairo Sourcing Group, or CSG, acts as the ultimate bridge to connect global brands with Egypt's top-tier manufacturing partners, taking the friction right out of international sourcing.
Let's take a quick look at the agenda. First up, the appeal of Egypt. Second, we'll meet Cairo Sourcing Group. Third, we'll cover their specialized manufacturing sectors. Fourth, the 8-step sourcing process. And finally, why you should partner with CSG.
All right, Section 1. The appeal of Egypt, a growing manufacturing powerhouse. So before we get into the who and how of Cairo Sourcing Group, we really have to answer the why. Why are top-tier global brands moving away from those congested Eastern hubs and pivoting straight to Egypt? Well, it all starts with unparalleled geographic positioning. Consider this, and this is wild. Roughly 12% of all global trade and 30% of global container traffic passes right through the Suez Canal in Egypt. When your manufacturing base is anchored exactly where global shipping lanes naturally converge, the impact on speed to market is absolutely immense. You get incredibly fast, direct shipping to Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and North America. And in retail, getting your product on shelves weeks faster than the competition isn't just nice to have. It's a massive financial advantage that frees up capital normally trapped in transit.
But it's not just about geography. There are some huge macroeconomic levers here that can seriously reduce bottom-line costs without dropping international quality standards. Obviously, you've got highly competitive production costs and a really skilled workforce. But the actual game changers? The trade agreements. Egypt offers preferential access to some massive markets. Take the QIZ, the Qualifying Industrial Zones Agreement. For apparel brands, manufacturing in these zones can mean duty-free access directly into the US market. That is a staggering boost to your margins. You've also got COMESA for the African markets and GAFTA for the Arab world. Combine that tariff-free access with highly flexible production, meaning you aren't forced into ordering 1 million units just to get a callback, and you've got an ecosystem built for true retail agility.
Moving on to Section 2. Meet Cairo Sourcing Group, your local office.
Now, knowing Egypt has all these economic perks is awesome, but let's be real. Navigating a foreign manufacturing landscape totally solo is incredibly risky. Language barriers, cultural nuances, thousands of miles. It can turn a great strategy into a complete operational nightmare. And using a standard trading company, that's basically an expensive game of telephone. They're distant middlemen, marking up prices, forwarding your emails, and crossing their fingers. Cairo Sourcing Group is fundamentally different because they actually have skin in the game. They function as a dedicated local sourcing office. Instead of just passing along messages, they become a literal extension of your own team, boots on the ground in Egypt. They handle the messy complexities of supplier selection, product development, rigorous quality control, and logistics. It's that perfect hybrid, vital local presence seamlessly paired with uncompromising global standards.
Next up, Section 3, Specialized Manufacturing Sectors, Versatility and Expertise.
Okay, so if CSG is basically your local office, what exactly can they build for you? Honestly, the versatility of their verified network is astounding. We are not just talking about a narrow niche here. Whether your brand does high-performance sportswear or you're outfitting a home textiles line with premium bed linens, they have a verified specialized partner ready to go. Need highly regulated, durable workwear or healthcare uniforms? They handle those strict requirements flawlessly. They also do extensive private label manufacturing for major international retailers, high-volume promotional products, and even specialized industrial and consumer goods. They've essentially mapped out the absolute best facilities across Egypt for almost any category you can think of.
All right, Section 4. The 8-step sourcing process, concept to shipment.
The million-dollar question is, how do they actually execute all of this without dropping the ball? Turning a raw concept into a finished, shelf-ready product takes a flawless blueprint, which brings us to their 8-step process. Step 1 is inquiry and requirement analysis, locking in specs, target costs, and non-negotiable timelines. But Step 2, factory selection, is where the real magic happens. Finding a factory is easy. Finding the right factory is incredibly tough to do alone. CSG removes that headache by matching your needs to a facility they've already fully audited.
Then, step 3 brings it to life with product development and sampling, making sure the prototype perfectly matches your vision before a single bulk item is cut. Finally, step 4 locks everything in with quotation and order confirmation, making it official with complete financial transparency.
And once that order is placed, that's when the real anxiety usually hits, right? The dread of production delays. But step 5, production management, totally solves this. The CSG team proactively monitors the assembly line on-site, catching bottlenecks before they mess with your timeline. Step 6 is quality assurance, which is so crucial we're going to double-click on it in a second. Once goods are finished, step 7 is final inspection and shipment prep. Export paperwork can be a total bureaucratic maze, but CSG ensures every single form and customs requirement is flawless, so nothing gets stuck at port. And lastly, step 8 wraps it up with delivery and continuous support. So even after that container ships, you've got dedicated after-sales care for your next seasonal run.
To really grasp the value of Step 6, you have to understand that this is not some theoretical spreadsheet-based quality control done via a weekly email. This is physical, uncompromising action. We are talking about a CSG team member standing right there on the factory floor, tape measure in hand, doing inline inspections while the machines are literally still running. By checking stitch counts, fabric tolerances, and exact dimensions during the actual production run, they prevent mass-scale defects. If a dye lot is off or a hem is just slightly crooked, it gets caught and corrected in Egypt, long before it ever has a chance to hit your distribution center.
And that brings us to Section 5, Why Partner with CSG? The Ultimate Payoff. Let's boil this all down to what really matters in business: time, money, and peace of mind. Partnering with CSG gives you the massive financial advantage of a local presence, but without the crippling overhead of setting up a foreign entity, hiring local staff, or navigating complex tax structures. You instantly bypass years of costly trial and error by plugging directly into a verified manufacturing network. You get complete project management and that hardcore quality assurance we just talked about. And because they are obsessed with transparent communication, you're always kept entirely in the loop. Ultimately, you're drastically reducing your sourcing risks while seriously boosting your speed to market and profitability.
The result of this entire highly orchestrated process is honestly the most satisfying moment in global trade. A seamless delivery. It's a fully realized, flawlessly inspected product heading out of an Egyptian port, completely ready for global distribution, and you didn't have to lose a single night of sleep worrying about how it got there. Now, this level of precision doesn't just happen by accident. It comes straight from the top. The founders, Ahmed Musa and George Nazmi, bring an immense amount of combined, hard-earned experience in global trade to every single project they take on. And they operate on a very clear ethos. To quote our source material directly, transparency, quality, reliability, confidentiality, long-term partnership. For them, these aren't just corporate buzzwords. They are the absolute foundational pillars of how they protect their clients' IP and build lasting mutual growth.
So, I want to leave you with a critical question to chew on. Is it time to rethink your manufacturing strategy? In a world where supply chain agility literally defines whether a retail brand survives or dies, staying tied to complex, opaque, or overly expensive legacy hubs is an operational risk you just don't have to take anymore. The structured, transparent solutions CSG provides in a booming, strategically located market like Egypt, that might be exactly the catalyst your brand needs to scale securely into the future. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.